So we have a new Mishnah today. It's a related topic to what's come before. And let's give it our best shot. We'll see how we do. It is the bottom Mishnah on Mem on the 48. So we are actually making progress. It's good to have you back. Can I have? Welcome.
Good to be here.
You don't want a book? No. Okay, tell us about
He-
Paytis.
He's for years trying to bring me to this.
Can I have your wit is untold. Right. We don't need the bookies. I think we've got enough time.
I'll tell you, 10 to 1 on.
Right here we go. Right. Yeah, so it's the bottom Mishnah. There's two Mishnahs on this page. We're looking at the second of the two. So I got people just coming in on the Zoom. I got Colin and I got somebody else.
Can all men said? Look.
Where it says Masni before that. Masni, sort of from Masnisin. It's about 10 lines up. In big letters, you see.
That's me, yeah.
That's it.
So look one side.
Welcome, Colin. Nice to have you with us.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you all. Nice to see you all. Nice to
Thank
see
you.
and hear you all.
Yeah, I was thinking that one. Oh,
No.
Hello,
Rabbi. Hello. Welcome, Zach. Nice to have you with us. Can I know? Good stuff. And we've got
You're the one who used to put
Bobby just about joining us now.
Before me.
There now. Okay, and welcome to Bobby as well. Not sure if you can hear us. Hope you can.
Calling all Bobbies.
There now. Right, here we go, folks. I'm doing screen shares, so we should all be able to see what's going on. This. Oh. There now. Right. Bobby, welcome back.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, are you better?
Thank you. On the mend.
Good.
Thank you.
Reverse your labor.
There now. Okay, right. So we're going to talk about more to do with deductions for things that are stored or, for that matter, bought. And it's an interesting listening song. I like it very much.
Pretty easy, no doubt.
Oh, that's simple. Like all of it, yeah. So here we go. Yotzi lo shtus liyain wants to deduct a sixth for wine. Rabbi Huda says chemesh, a fifth. Yotzi lo shlosha lugin shemen lemea lug. I'm sorry. Yotzi lo shlosha lugin shemen lemea wants to deduct 3 lug for 100 of oil. So whereas for wine it's a sixth, for oil it's only 3%. Lug umerza shmorim, lug umerza bela. 1.5 lug for lees, 1.5 lug for the stuff being absorbed. So it's not quite clear. I had a little look around in the Rishonim. It's not quite clear why this distinction between the lees and the absorption is only brought for the oil, not for the wine.
Can you tell us what a lug is?
It's a measure. It's a small measure. I'm not quite sure how much. Forgive me. Do you know how much it is?
Is it something an eggshell sort of thing?
Could be. I'll look it up. I've got the Google right here.
Is it because refined oil doesn't have any sediment?
Very good. Yeah, we're coming to that. Yes, I can, Colin. We're going to come back.
So that would be the difference. Whereas wine
absolutely
has a
yes.
lot of sediment.
But with wine, you have sediment as well.
Yes, you know, but if not, if it's refined oil, it doesn't have sediment.
Right, but
all oil does have. But all non-refined has sediment, and also obviously all wine has sediment.
Right. So why? So the question is, why does it only bring the distinction between the sediment and the absorption with the oil and not with the wine?
Because the oil doesn't have the same absorption.
But it has some absorption. There is such a thing. We see it says 3%.
It doesn't wine evaporate as opposed to
no, they both have the same phenomenon to a lesser degree, but it does happen. And the Rishonim talk about it. It's left as the Rosh says I don't understand it. You know, why it's only brought regarding or not why. The only thing I can think of that's a very, very weak answer is that it's something to do with how it was memorized or, you know, written. Because occasionally the Mishnayos are in a what seems to be an ungainly style, so to aid memory. So it could be that something to do with that. I don't know, but maybe to say that the distinction between lees or sediment and absorption actually it applies to them both, and we'll put at the end of the two, referring back, but we'll also give the measure for oil specifically.
You said how much you memorize.
It'd be different though for what they put it in.
So just say, Colin?
You mentioned
So-
memorize.
Yes. The Mishnah said that to memorize. They were composed in a way to be memorized. They weren't written down originally.
Doesn't that depend on how much wine you drink, how much.
That's also true. Yeah. Well, it does say nichnas yain yotza side when wine comes in, the secrets come out, and in fact, yain has the same gematria as side 70, and that's the 70 faces of Torah. When you have a little bit of wine, just a bit enough to reduce your inhibitions, it can help you learn. Also, Torah is compared to wine because just as Torah it matures and it over time, it's a beautiful, multifaceted, multi-layered, clever thing that enriches your mind. It can be like a fine wine that when you have a really good wine, it can help you appreciate the details, the layers, and it helps you see the whole world in a different way. And Torah's actually, Rav Hirsch says Torah's compared to different things, and he discerns how. Sorry? So it's compared to water, it's compared to milk, it's compared to fire. And he says that that it depends on your stage in life. So little children need milk. Teenagers are fiery. People who are in the sort of mid stage of their life may need just water to get by. And in old age, we appreciate a fine wine. And it says Torah is like that for every stage. That when you're very little, Torah is a sustaining thing. When somebody's older, then Torah is like a wine. And when they're a teenager, Torah shows how to change the world with the risk of the fire of Torah. So the different similes of Torah are telling us that it accompanies us through every stage in life.
So the wine lifts your spirit.
Very good, very good. Yeah. And on Purim, which is the holiest day of the year in a certain way, it's a mitzvah to drink, to drink Yosim Milimuda more than one normally would. Not to get blind drunk and vomit. That's disgusting. Yeah, but just enough to reduce the inhibitions that are normally there and achieve heights one normally can't. I had a friend in yeshiva who said that on Purim he did his best Amida the whole year, not because he was blind drunk, but because the wine helped him to shed some inhibitions that were normally there, and he could really do it properly. And in answer to Colin's question, I'm sorry to restore this question. A lug is half of a hin. And the volume of 6 eggs, about half a liter. There we are. Okay, thank you.
Rabbi, Rabbi,
Okay, Colin. Colin's on next.
Would the answer be the absorption? So if you put wine in a bottle, it's going to have different absorption to say putting oil in a cup.
Colin, I need to be quiet, please. You're spoiling my share.
Sorry?
You're spoiling my share, Colin. I need you to stop right there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
As usual. There's always one.
No. I'm just thinking of wine. I'm just thinking of wine.
I must stop you there, okay? Because you're going to spoil my...
Stop. I'll stop.
Thank you very much. You said, God, I come on to you. Okay? Michael.
Ignore the wine going off. That wine over time will churn, and therefore that should be put in here as a particular time limit. I suppose to some extent it's happening with wine.
Right. So I think with wine also, in principle, the Mishnah is assuming that wine and oil correctly stored will keep indefinitely. But you're quite right. If it turns into vinegar.
Yeah.
Oh,
You've got so many Mishnayos about vinegar from wine. And here you've got no mention of vinegar.
Because that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about...
But it's linked in with the idea of the storage and how it's done for the showman.
Okay, so here what we're saying is that even if it's properly stored, you'll still have this issue.
Yes. It depends how properly stored it is.
You're right, but we're talking about the best possible storage, the guy doing his job as he ought. Even so, there's still issues.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right that if the wine or oil are improperly stored, you'll damage them, and then then it's a matter of hezek. It's simple damage. This is not a matter of hezek. Nobody's done anything wrong here. It's broadly speaking, generally speaking, it's unavoidable that there will be these losses. However, there are exceptions, as Colin intimates.
You store it correctly,
Yeah, well, if you store it really well,
Depends how.
then you can roll out the barrel.
yeah, but you might have situations where there's no loss at all. So and what if somebody's buying oil and they specifically want filtered oil with no sediment? Will the seller then be able to include the sediment in it?
And there'll be sediment in the wine as well.
And in and wine for that matter, yeah.
Don't compare it to gefilte fish.
That could also be the
You
case.
do.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see. There's a lot to talk about here. All right. So the Gemara can do with all of these things. Again, Yoselo Shtuslein, we take the sixth for wine. Rabbi Huda and Mechamesh, Rabbi Huda said the fifth. Yoselo Shlosh Shemen Lemel, we should take out 3% of oil. Lugum Esa Shmorim, 1.5 lug of sediment. Lugum Esa Bella, 1.5 lug of absorption. That means, just by the way, to be clear, that the barrel absorbs a small proportion of the wine or the oil. And then again, you might ask if it's an old barrel that has already absorbed wine and oil, what would we say? And that's something I was going to deal with. If the oil is already filtered, is purified, so there's no sediment in it, then you can't deduct sediment because it wasn't there in the first place. If it was old barrels where they've already absorbed and they won't absorb anymore, you shouldn't deduct absorption because there ain't none.
What proof is there if somebody says there's no sediments in it? It's filtered. What proof?
That's a very good question.
He's telling the truth.
Right, it's a very good question. So normally, again, ideally we have witnesses or we have some sort of documentation to prove what it is. But you're talking a case where, it's, again,
Well, when I filtered it, but I filtered it because I wanted it to be like this, but I didn't have anybody there to say, come and watch them be a witness.
right, yeah. So then we'd say, I mean, I'm not got a brilliant answer for you. It's the best I can do. That whoever's trying to make a claim on that will have to prove what they want to claim.
This is done for business. This is the base person's bonus.
Absolutely,
So
this is
reputation will be known. If he has fiddled in the part up, he's got. If he says he's cleaned it out and it's pure, things like that, that's what he's referred.
maybe.
Still need witnesses. Let's see what the rabbi's saying.
Well, this is
What
reputation.
sort of shower you've got as well?
Well, that depends on the personality.
Yeah. If the person known to be a crook, that might be a problem. But still, we'd
No, many years ago, in Monsi, it was headlines that a butcher,
Yeah.
and they
Yes,
were
yes.
selling trade for me, and they all had to throw out the caning. And
Well, I'm to Mickey Bloom also. What do you got?
right, but I'm just saying. So really, when you talk about witnesses, you say, "Oh, he's a hush of the years."
Yeah.
not always enough.
No,
Yeah.
so that proves that you do need. If you're going to do it, you should have.
You should, but often they don't. That's the problem. And
But
this,
then you've got no proof. then.
yeah. And if you're,
There's no point whining about it.
Oh,
absolutely.
Then how can you be?
Sorry.
What we say, Rabbi, I'll tell you that you've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
before,
All right.
even with the 21st century.
It's nothing new. It's nothing. It's all the same. It's different. It's different contexts. The same issues. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Let's have a look at the next one, Mishnah. Rabbi Huda. I mean, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines up. In the middle of the line, Rabbi Huda says, if somebody sells oil to his friend all year round, this person should receive or accept 1.5 lug of sediment out of every 100. What that means, we don't quite know, but we're going to find out. Okay, I had to turn that on. So let's go into the Gemara. The Gemara is going to unpack each of these issues. Gemara, v'lo pligi. This point about where the start of the Mishnah, where it says that you can deduct a sixth for wine, and Rabbi Yehuda says it's a fifth. The Gemara says they're not actually arguing. There's not a point of principle
I was
here.
about to say, why one saying the sixth or fifth, so, but to me, it isn't.
Right, but it's not an argument of principle, it's an argument of facts on the ground. It's just about the reality. Locally, they're not arguing about a point of, it's not a logical thing. Maki Asri, Maki Asri. Each one is talking about the circumstances in their place. That's exactly he doesn't. It doesn't make it depend on the quality of wine. Makes it depend on the quality of barrel.
That's a different problem.
It seems that all kinds of wine are absorbed at the same rate.
But you don't know the state of the barrel, the inside.
So we do know about what is generally the quality of barrels in different places.
Would you trust everybody in that area? We've already said about the
in principle, yes. So we start off with giving everybody cheskas kasha, which means we assume that everybody's okay. So, for example, if you have, it's not a classic case, if you've got a stranger who comes to town and joins a minyan, we assume they're Jewish. We don't have them prove their Jewish credentials on the spot. If the guy comes to and says he's Jewish, we assume he's Jewish.
And the Cohen.
And if he says it's okay, we assume it's okay. Yeah. We just do, because we've got no.
Why is that? That's a very good point then, Rabbi. Why is that? Someone comes to shul and they say, I get the first call up, I'm a Cohen, or I'm a Levi, I get the second one. Well, why do we believe them?
Yeah, there are jokes based on this, the answer is that people are deemed to be trustworthy in opinion, because most people are. So we'll assume this person comes from the majority of people who are trustworthy. If we know that's not the case, then yes, indeed, we'll question them.
If you're now looking at Jewish business ethics, this is something different again. If I put a good beard, etc., are you going to say this is great or dodgy?
Right. So again, we've got a default scenario, at least regarding barrels in a particular place. So we'll assume that a barrel manufactured in a particular place has these qualities to it. That it's a baseline assumption. There may be particular issues around this situation that tell us something else. You're right, but these are sort of default positions. That's all the Gemara is telling us. But you're quite right. If there's more to it than here, you'll have to take that into account.
So they wouldn't be using entourage, would they?
What's that?
Jokes. They'd be using
We'll come to that soon. We'll come to that soon. Oh, you'll see. Yeah.
I am. I think HSFC this area a little bit. From Sandon, so you have to travel that. Look, we're still in these Premiership.
Okay.
Obviously, Tottenham.
So they're not arguing. The Gemara says, each one is talking about their own place. But as the Dema Chofa Bakira, v'lo mites tfei. But as the Dema Chofa Bakufra mites tfei. In the Rabbanon's community, they would coat the inside of their barrels with wax, and they wouldn't be so absorbent. In Rabbi Yehuda's place, they would coat the interior of the barrels with pitch, and they would absorb more. In fact, in the Mayor of Casterbridge, you've got what's his name, Henchard, the mayor, who he says he could drink a barrel down to the pitching. Because he took a vow not to drink for 21 years. And so he says at the point, I always wonder what that means. I only worked it out when I learned this tomorrow. He could drink a barrel down to the pitching, right to the very coating of the interior coating of the barrel.
But he was a singer.
A singer?
He used the pitchfork.
Ah,
Besides the tuning fork, it
Yeah.
was like a whistle. And it had all the notes on it.
That's right. That's right.
And put it sharp, whatever.
A pitch pipe.
Pitch pipe.
Yeah. I had it off my violin. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Okay, right. Ibo is saying, or if you want, I will say, Mishum Gargishta. Or you could say it's about the quality of the earth in particular places that
Wouldn't then be getting into concept of pressures with the barrels? Who's going to check up the coatings are okay?
Just bear with me a second. I'll come back to that very shortly. So the thing about the Gargishta is that presumably the barrels are made out of clay, and the clay would be more or less absorbent depending on the earth from which the clay was made. As for the coating of the barrels, it is assumed again as a default position that the wax and the pitch were not edible things, therefore deemed to be kosher.
Here to Pompeii, we found fish for the labelings.
Wow.
And that's 79 CE.
Wowie.
It's right into this area as well. So obviously worried about the fact that
But there was a whole,
They're still selling it in kosher meat.
but there was a whole problem with whiskey that was stored in sherry. casks.
Let's do this very briefly. So there is a question, a famous question about sherry casks for whiskey, and sherry is a kind of wine, and the question is, if you have non-kosher sherry that is used to cure a barrel, season the barrel, I don't know what the word is, and then you put whiskey in the same barrel, is that a problem? So it is argued in halacha. The Union and the London Basin are both makel on this one as a rule. They say it's okay. And Moshe Feinstein says because it doesn't impart a taste, it imparts it calls it kiyuha ba'alma. It's the same word as hakei shinov in the Haggadah. It's a sort of tang, a sort of bitterness, but not actually a taste. And the halacha is that the taste of something is like the thing itself. That's what from Sukkim Torah, from nausea, and also from a thing about clay vessels in which a carbon is cooked. It says they had to be broken, from which we learn. So anything that we know from nausea, where it says that anything in which grapes have been soaked is a problem for a nausea, and also that if you got a carbon cooked in a clay vessel, the vessel has to be broken. So again, from both those things, we see that the taste of the food is like the food itself. But with the sherry cask, it seems that by and large, it's not the taste of the sherry that goes into the whiskey; it's something else. It's a sort of tang. I don't like whiskey at all. So I'm not holding it. Don't get me started. But it's be that as it may, when it comes to what's called double maturation whiskies, the London base says they are a problem. But if it's
What's double maturations?
I've not a clue. It's a thing. I don't know. They had to look. It says on the bottle when it's there. That is a problem, said London Basting. But a regular whiskey, even if it's in a sherry cask, that is okay, says London Basting. Not based on Moshe Feinstein brings this to the halacha as well. So it is a well-known thing. And my brother-in-law, who's a Dan on the Union Basting, says the same thing. He's very, very dismissive of all the sherry cask.
Well, do you know what? I thank you very much for clarifying this, because, as you know, I buy whiskey for the shul, for the kiddush, and I've been told so many times not to get the one in a sherry casket. Don't get the sherry casket. Don't get the sherry casket. And I've been with religious people that are drinking whiskey from the sherry casket, but I've never bought one, so I have to look around to make sure I'm not getting the sherry casket. So now you're saying actually it's okay.
Just bear with me. Let me just.
It's a very practical question for me. It's a very practical.
Right now, just a second, just to be sure.
Please.
In all whiskey coast, just a second. Here we are. So I'm reading this on the London Basting now. Ordinary Scotch, English, and Welsh whiskey, whether single malt or blended, without any mention of the use of sherry port or otherwhere, can be consumed confidently. Irish whiskey can also be consumed confidently. Yeah. Whiskey which has been matured in wine casks has been subject to detailed halakhic consideration by major poskim who mentions Minchas Yitzchak in Gos Moshe, which do not forbid its consumption. There is a new process, however, known as wine cask finishes, also refers to a double or second maturation, which is a secondary process in which fully aged and matured whiskey is returned to specially commissioned and primed wine cask for a further period of maturation, a process some claim imparts a recognizable taste of the wine. This new process may not be covered by all the aforementioned heterim, and accordingly some may wish to avoid products so labeled. All KLBD certified whiskies are matured exclusively in non-wine or kosher wine casks. So again, he's saying if it's matured in wine casks, Moshe Feinstein and the Minchas Yitzchak say it's okay, unless it's double or second maturation, in which case it is a problem. it seems that the KLBD certified whiskies are specifically in non-wine or coastal wine casks. So they go to the nth degree. They go a stage further. They are strict. But there you go, Colin. And when it comes to American,
Thank you.
Japanese, Norwegian, they're not necessarily subject to the above-mentioned controls, and only those coastal certified or approved can be recommended. But
You
Scott,
see, it's interesting because here's an interesting thought for everyone that American whiskey, I think it's American whiskey, has an E in it. So it's KEY, and Scottish is just Y.
that's right. That's right. Now, Irish also has an E.
Yes, Irish has an E. So it's
Yeah.
only Scottish whiskey that has the Y, the no E in it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's all I can say about that. But I think it's all. Never mind.
Well,
Okay.
I can tell you, Rabbi,
Yeah.
these two Scotsmen every night after work met to have their whiskey. They were big whiskey drinkers, big Mavinium on whiskey. And one says to the other, Hamish says to Jock, he says, Jock, what is the most you have ever spent on a pucker bottle of single malt?
Right.
And he looks at his friend and he said about 20 minutes.
Very good.
And John Wilson also said,
Yeah.
in industrial process,
Yeah.
they clean it out first, the sherry cut. It's industrial, so it's actually steaming it.
So they take it out.
He said it's absolute fine. It's absolute.
Okay.
Literally, yeah, he
Yeah.
knew about it. This.
If you gave me a bottle of what, anyway, never mind.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on whiskey. I think it's
It's
disgusting.
actual clean. He said you've got no problem.
Fine, fine. Good luck
And
to
the
them.
quantity of whiskey in the barrel, he said,
Okay.
don't tax it.
Horace of Tyranny, I just says that.
But he done your
Right. So, let's move on a bit. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to sort of digress slightly to talk about an aspect of business law and what Rabbi Yehuda did, and the matter of absorption of wine is going to. Oh, sorry, the matter of absorption of wine is going to come into this discussion as a tangential thing. And you need to have your wits about it for this one. But I'm gonna explain it as clear as I can. I struggle with it a bit, but I think I got it now. So, but we're now in the middle of the second line up in the Gemara. But after Rabbi Yehuda, in where Rabbi Yehuda lived, Rom Aboim V'Tani Kuzi Budano. This is Michael's amphore. They would put 48 jugs of wine into a barrel. Also, Dana Bashisa Zuzi. You could sell a barrel of wine for 6 zuz. 48 jugs for 6 zuz.
1 second.
That's what you could buy it for.
Sorry to him.
Horace Rabbi Yehuda, Shisa Bazuzah. Rabbi Yehuda
television.
sold 6 jugs of wine from a barrel for a zuz.
Yeah.
So he bought it for 8 barrels, for 8 jugs per zuz, and he sold it at 6 jugs per zuz. Okay? Now let's go over the page.
Yes.
Beryl, I wonder if you could put your phone on mute because we can't hear the rabbi. If that would be okay. Beryl, Ellie.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Dal Talsim Vishisa Vishisa. Take out $30 and 6 in 6, which means that we know that he sold 36 jugs of wine for 6 zuz. Poshule Teresa, he was left with 12. Because we recall, he bought a barrel which had 48 jugs of wine in it. He sold, and that cost him 6 zuz. He recouped his 6 zuz by selling 36 jugs of wine, because it was a zuz for 6 jugs, and he sold all 36 jugs worth. So how many jugs of wine has he got left in this barrel?
Well,
12 left.
12.
Okay. Partial
12.
tracer, he's got 12 left. Down to mania Stussi, take off 8/6, because out of the original 48, which is 8 batches of 6, in each batch of 6, 1/6 will have been absorbed by the barrel. So out of the 12 that remained for him, he had to take off 8, because there were 48 original jugs of wine, and therefore 8 of those, that's a 6th of 48, will have been absorbed by the barrel itself. You with me so far?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
out of those, so he sold 36. He hasn't got 12 left because
He's got
8
4.
would have been absorbed by the barrel. So he's got
So he's
12
got
minus 8,
4.
which is 4. He's got 4 left. That's his profit. So his profit margin is 1 in 12.
My bed's up.
Well, I tell you, yes, exactly. That's almost the Gemara's question.
Yeah, 1 in 12. Yeah.
But surely the rabbis say that you're allowed to make a profit up to a 6th. More than a 6th is considered cheating. It's it's not allowed. Oh, sorry, a 6th is called onar. More than 6th is called mechatos. It's called deceit. But up to a 6th is considered a fair profit. So why did he content himself with a profit margin of 1 in 12, which is 8.5%? He should have been able to make a bit more than that. So why did he sell it at 6 jugs to the Zuz? That's the Gemara's question. My betsa.
He did it because, if you like, he had Rasmonis on the other merchants.
No,
No?
he got something else as well when he did this deal.
He
What?
didn't want to make more than he felt he needed to make.
No.
Couldn't use what was left.
Yes. What's he got left?
Leaves or whatever.
The leaves, and what else has he got?
Barrel.
The barrel. That's right. Yes. Sure. The sediment in the wine.
All right, right. No.
You can use that.
Yeah, you can make mead out of the sediment. Timid, they call it. Yeah. So the Gemara answers, this is Marco's point, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down. Gulfi Ushmaya, there's the barrel itself. It's not gulpi, by the way, which is the gulpi in the wine. It's gulpi, which is the barrel. Ushmaya, and there's the sediment which you can use. So the Gemara answers, in that case, he's made more than a 6th profit. He's made a 12th plus the barrel plus the sediment. That's more than a 6th.
I thought he's not allowed to make more.
Oh, that's the Gemara's question. Exactly. He's not allowed to. So how can he do this? So the Gemara answers, so you forget, the Gemara says, he's allowed to charge for his labor. He's got to sit there with his barrel and dole out the jugs of wine. He's allowed to charge for his labor. And there's also the craftsman's cost for fitting a tap to the wine barrel. So when you factor, the Gemara says, when you factor those in, so he's not that he's made a 12th plus the value of the barrel plus the value of the sediment. He's made a 12th plus the value of the barrel plus the value of the sediment minus the cost of the tap minus the cost of his labor. And the Gemara says, therefore, it will have worked out at a 6th. So it's all fine.
To gross to net. He's gone gross
That's
to
right.
net.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
The tap will bring his profit flowing now.
We hope so. Baruch Hashem, we really deserved it. And just by the way, it's a curious thing that we're talking about Rabbi Yehuda, but it's talking about the barrel absorbed being a 6th, so he must have been using a barrel not from his place, because he says the barrel absorbs 5th. But this story, he was using a 6th, so it must have been he was using a barrel not from his place, or he was elsewhere when it went.
Why would taste like in a clay barrel?
Well, presumably it will have been. It's like a wooden barrel nowadays. That's it would have been clean inside. You don't have wine full of bits. It's horrible. So it's
It's very strong as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They
well-
had to dilute it.
Oh, the
yeah,
wine.
yeah.
It wasn't anything like.
No,
It would have tasted holy.
It's not
That's
gonna
why
be,
it's made holy.
Syrup.
It's not going to be Kedden.
Who knows? Who knows?
Fede Shemenu, but it won't be Kedden.
All right. Let us have a look at the next one. Gemara 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines down in the Gemara. Ima Hashem Mezukach. Now, if it was a filtered wine, you don't deduct the sediment. And if it was oil in, sorry, I'm sorry, oil rather. If it's a filtered oil, you don't deduct the sediment because it's already filtered. If you say, I'm here is some filtered oil for you to buy, then obviously there's no deduction for sediment because the deal is that you're paying more for the fact that it has no sediment in it. So there's no deductions for that. And likewise, if it's sold in an old barrel, then it is deemed not to have any absorption because it's an old barrel. So the Gemara says, that's impossible. Every barrel surely absorbs something, even if it's an old barrel that's been used before. Rav Nachman says, we're talking about barrels that are old and also have been lined with pitch. Rabbi says, even if it has been pitched inside, since it has been used before, it's absorbed, oil is going to absorb, and it won't absorb anymore at all.
Stamp the wine that tastes like being lined with pitch.
I know. I can't tell you.
No, I know. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
I don't think it means pitch like sort of tar, like
Right.
we imagine it. It must have been something slightly different. Because it was a common thing, and yet they drank their wine. They liked that, and it was regarded as delicacy. So it must be like the whiskey in barrels nowadays. That it's something. It's the barrel is treated in such a way that it doesn't harm the content. Or there's been no point. You must say that. Okay,
The Romans like their old wine, really.
absolutely. They live by it. Okay, now then, here's a funny thing. Rabbi Huda says, "Av hamayche shemen mezukat lechaverei." If somebody sells purified oil to his friend, all year round, all the year long, the buyer has to accept 1.5 lug of sediment for every 100 lug of oil. What's Rabbi Huda saying here? We just said this in the Mishnah.
Well, we said before you can actually set that at the end.
Yes. So what's he adding here? We just said it. I mean, literally said it exactly that point in the Mishnah. Rabbi Huda's not arguing. He adds and he says, if you sell oil to your friend all year round, you can add in a 1.5 lug for 100. Thank you. I know that. So what's he saying? It's a good question.
There's no way he's losing out if he can sell the sediment.
Indeed.
It's different.
Yeah. So what's he doing about?
Yes, I don't understand why.
It's a good question.
But it would be sold as something different, wouldn't it? To the oil.
It was talking about oil.
Yeah.
No. It's included in the oil.
But
It's deemed to be.
You'd have to be able to extract it.
I suppose you could if you could put it through a cloth. Yeah, absolutely. But when you buy oil, you are deemed to buy it with 100% of sediment included in. That's the normal.
Not if it's pure. Not if you buy pure.
Right. So you're quite right. If the seller and the buyer agree that it is pure filtered oil with no sediment, then no sediment applies. But as usual, we're talking dog and duck here, where it's not actually specified at all. So then there is deemed to be 100% deduction for sediment. And yeah, when you buy your oil, you buy your sediment. You buy your sediment as well. It's like when you buy fish. You don't get pure fish. You get fish or meat. You get fish or meat with bones. And the less bones there are in a piece of meat, the more expensive it is. If you buy something like chicken wings, where there's a lot of bone, it's a lot cheaper than if you buy, let's say, oyster thigh, where there's no bone at all, or very little, or a pot roast, where there's.
I suppose it's the same as when you buy the fish and they weigh it before they bone it, so you pay for
That's
the
right.
weight of it.
You're buying the bones as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ask them to fillet it first, then you pay more because you're paying for the fact that it has no bones and also for their labor in filleting it. That's how So the expertise, yeah, because they do it really nicely. Yeah. So you're buying that service from them. So what's this Mishnah talking about?